From icy highways across the Canadian prairies to a powerful winter storm developing along the Atlantic coast, Canada is experiencing a wide range of hazardous weather conditions this Saturday, March 21st. Across several provinces, changing temperatures and an active storm system are creating everything from heavy snowfall and freezing rain to dense fog and dangerous travel conditions. Meteorologists say the main driver behind much of today's activity is a fast-moving Alberta Clipper system sweeping eastward across the country, bringing a chain reaction of weather impacts from the Rocky Mountains all the way to the shores of Newfoundland. As this system progresses, millions of Canadians are being advised to stay alert to rapidly changing conditions, especially during morning travel hours, when many of the hazards are at their peak. In Western Canada, the most intense snowfall today is falling across the Alberta Rockies, where mountainous terrain is helping to intensify precipitation from the approaching Clipper system. Snowfall warnings have been issued for several parts of Clearwater County, including areas around Chungo Creek, Nordegg, the Bighorn Reservoir region, and Yaha-Tinda Ranch. Nearby Yellowhead County is also experiencing heavy snowfall, particularly in communities such as Catamount and Robb. One of the most affected travel routes today is Highway 93, widely known as the Icefields Parkway, which runs through some of the most dramatic mountain landscapes in Canada. The section between Jasper and Saskatchewan River Crossing is under a snowfall warning, as well as the stretch from Lake Louise northward along the parkway. At elevations above 1,800 meters, forecasters expect an additional 15 to 25 centimeters of snow to accumulate by Saturday evening. The heaviest snowfall is expected south of Saskatchewan River Crossing within the southern Columbia Icefield region, where elevation and moisture combine to enhance snowfall rates. Visibility along these mountain corridors may drop suddenly during heavier bursts of snow, and travel conditions can deteriorate quickly. Drivers traveling through the region today should be prepared for slippery roads, reduced visibility, and the possibility of temporary road closures as snow continues to fall through the afternoon before gradually tapering into lighter flurries later tonight. As the Alberta Clipper continues eastward, its impact becomes particularly noticeable across Saskatchewan, where freezing rain has become the dominant hazard this morning. Environment Canada has issued freezing rain warnings across more than 60 regions throughout central and eastern Saskatchewan, highlighting the widespread nature of this event. The city of Saskatoon and many surrounding communities woke up to icy conditions as rain fell onto surfaces that remained below the freezing point. When this occurs, liquid precipitation instantly freezes on contact, forming a thin but extremely dangerous layer of ice on roads, sidewalks, parking lots, and vehicles. Communities stretching east from Saskatoon toward Yorkton are all affected, including places such as Melville, Esterhazy, Langenberg, Fort Qu'Appelle, and Watrous. Even a small accumulation of freezing rain can create hazardous conditions for both drivers and pedestrians, and officials warn that slips and falls become much more likely during events like this. Motorists traveling along the Trans-Canada Highway or other provincial routes across central Saskatchewan are being urged to slow down and allow extra time for their journeys. Fortunately, because Alberta Clippers typically move quickly, forecasters expect the freezing rain threat to gradually diminish as the system continues its eastward path later today, allowing conditions to slowly improve by the afternoon. Moving further east into Manitoba, the same weather system is creating two very different types of winter hazards at the same time depending on location. Across northern and western parts of the province, significant snowfall is underway as the Clipper interacts with higher terrain and colder air. Snowfall warnings have been issued for regions including Duck Mountain Provincial Park, the Swan Valley, the Dolphin Area, and Riding Mountain National Park. In these regions, snowfall totals of 15 to 20 centimeters are expected by the time the system departs later today, with some localized areas potentially exceeding those amounts. Heavy snow at times will lead to reduced visibility, especially in open areas where wind can blow freshly fallen snow across roadways. Travel could become difficult on highways passing through these regions, and authorities warn that conditions may change quickly as snow bands shift across the landscape. Meanwhile, southern Manitoba is facing a different challenge as temperatures hover near the freezing mark. Here, freezing rain warnings are in place for several communities including Hamiota, Clanwilliam, Erickson, Minnedosa, and Shoal Lake, as well as areas surrounding St. Lazare and Macaulay within the Yellowhead region. As rain freezes on contact with cold surfaces, roads and sidewalks quickly become slick and hazardous. The early morning hours are expected to present the greatest risk before temperatures slowly rise and the Clipper continues eastward, allowing conditions to gradually improve later in the day. Ontario is experiencing two distinct weather stories today as well. In the northwest, communities near Lake Superior are dealing with a developing snowfall event. Special weather statements have been issued for areas including Thunder Bay, Marathon, Schreiber, Nipigon, Wawa, White River, and Dubroyville. Snowfall totals ranging from 5 to 12 centimeters are expected to develop through the day, with locally higher amounts possible north of Lake Superior, where terrain features can enhance precipitation. There is also a brief risk of freezing rain along the western shores of Lake Superior during the early morning hours before precipitation transitions primarily to snow. The snowfall is expected to continue spreading eastward through the day and may linger into the evening hours, potentially affecting travel across portions of northern Ontario. In contrast, southern Ontario is dealing with a much different weather hazard this morning as dense fog settles across parts of the region. Fog advisories have been issued for communities surrounding Georgian Bay and the Bruce Peninsula, including Barrie, Collingwood, Owen Sound, and the Blue Mountains. Additional advisories extend into areas such as Kincardine, Goderich, Wingham, Orangeville, Shelburne, and parts of the Niagara region, including St. Catharines, Grimsby, Niagara Falls, and Welland. In some locations, visibility may drop close to zero, making travel particularly dangerous on highways and rural roads. Drivers are being advised to reduce speed, use low-beam headlights, and remain alert for rapidly changing visibility conditions. Fortunately, forecasters expect the fog to gradually lift as temperatures warm slightly, and daytime mixing improves visibility through the late morning hours. Farther east along Quebec's lower north shore near the Labrador border, snowfall warnings are in place for communities such as Blanc-Sablon and Cheverry. Snow is expected to accumulate steadily from Saturday morning through early Sunday, with totals reaching 15 to 20 centimeters. While these coastal communities are relatively remote, the approaching weather will still create difficult conditions for residents and travelers. After the main snowfall ends, strong winds approaching 60 kilometers per hour may develop by Sunday morning, potentially creating blowing snow and reduced visibility even after the storm itself has passed. The most significant single weather event in today's forecast is unfolding along the southwestern coast of Newfoundland, where a winter storm warning has been issued for Channel Port aux Basques and nearby areas. A winter storm warning indicates that several forms of severe winter weather will occur simultaneously, and in this case, forecasters expect heavy snowfall, strong winds, blowing snow, and rapidly deteriorating visibility throughout the day and evening. Snow is expected to begin Saturday morning and intensify through the afternoon, with total accumulations between 20 and 30 centimeters possible before conditions improve early Sunday. Southeasterly winds may gust to around 50 kilometers per hour during the daytime hours, while exposed locations such as the notorious Wreck House area could experience gusts approaching 80 kilometers per hour. Later tonight, winds are expected to shift to the northwest while remaining strong, creating blowing snow and dramatically reduced visibility. As temperatures fall below freezing overnight, a flash freeze may occur on untreated surfaces, making already snow-covered roads even more dangerous. This complex pattern of weather across Canada today highlights the typical life cycle of an Alberta Clipper system. These fast-moving low-pressure systems often form near the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains before racing eastward across the prairies and eventually toward the Atlantic coast. Along their path, they can produce snow, freezing rain, and strong winds, especially when interacting with local terrain or additional moisture sources. In today's case, the Clipper is responsible for the snow in Alberta's mountains, the freezing rain across Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba, the snowfall spreading into northwestern Ontario, and the intensifying winter storm reaching Newfoundland. As the system continues its journey eastward tonight and into Sunday, conditions across Western Canada will gradually improve, while Atlantic Canada experiences the final and most intense stage of the storm. Canadians across multiple provinces are encouraged to monitor local forecasts and warnings as conditions evolve, especially in regions where travel could become hazardous due to snow, ice, or reduced visibility.